So look, there's 5 key strategies for how we can lead innovation for better learning. Innovation is not just about step 1, focusing on problems worth solving, innovation that's meaningful and that matters. We've also got to move to being inspired, having new ideation by pursuing inspiration without borders, taking the time to see the best of what's out there and being inspired by it. And number 3, once you've actually been inspired about what might happen, I'm going to suggest that you embrace a disciplined innovation approach. There is a tendency in education to be really excited about new ideas, and we think that having the new idea is really, the key driver of innovation, and it's really just the starting point. Now, after we've had that new idea, we need to really discipline the innovation process to ask ourselves, what's the problem we're trying to solve? How would we know whether we're making progress? And then working with a small group of people to incubate that idea. So as you've got this idea, maybe you work with a small group, maybe from one faculty area or one stage if you're working at the elementary school level. And you work with a small handful of teachers to work out how do we really bring in this technology, this one that we've selected or this approach that we've selected to solve this particular learning challenge. And we work through some rapid prototyping cycles. We'll try something using that technology. We'll see what's working, for whom, under what conditions, which students really seem to be lit up by this, what's it like as a teacher to use this device in this way. And then after we get that feedback, we iterate on that. We learn from the things that are working, and we're actually very open to learning from the things that aren't working. You'll hear innovators, particularly in Silicon Valley, talk a lot about failure and embracing failure. But it's not so much that it's a failure that we celebrate when we're entrepreneurial and when we're trying to take risks. No, what we're really celebrating is the learning that comes from failure. That real capacity to say we tried to do something. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. Now, what can we learn from that experience, from that experiment in learning that we did? And now use that to do a new model of learning and try it again tomorrow. Put it into practice next week. And so a disciplined innovation approach really is very clear on what you're trying to do. Very clear on the kind of evidence you want to glean, whether it's about student outcomes, student engagement, how easy it is for the teacher to use it. And then you work through some rapid prototyping cycles to see in a very small way what's working, for whom, under what conditions. And I really want to emphasize this. In education, there is no what works. There is no sort of here's the device or here's the software, here's the program, here's the app. And if only you'll use this, you'll get the silver bullet solution to a particular learning problem. No, actually, context really matters in education. And so our disciplined innovation approach isn't to try to find what works, but to find what's working, for whom, under what conditions. Learning in and through practice in this very disciplined way about how we can ensure that the decisions that we think we want to make at the larger level across our school are working at a smaller level. And one note on this, this is not piloting. This is not making our decisions about what we'll do, starting small and then rolling it out. No, this is really innovation prototyping, being willing through this process to iterate and to change. And if it's working well, to persevere. But if things really aren't working well, we'd pivot. We'd be willing to say, actually, no, our original assumptions about the way this device or this new program was going to work aren't playing out. And we're actually now willing to learn from that and to move in a different direction based on the learning we've had from our disciplined innovation process. So number 3, innovators really embrace disciplined innovation, learning in and through practice about how and if the learning innovations that they've come up with are really working out in practice. And here it's all about innovating in the real world, in the messiness of our classrooms and our learning environments, and seeing how these digital devices will really play out in ways that we expect and sometimes in ways that we couldn't have planned.